Today I am sharing 9 Celtic folk bands that you want to watch in 2025. We also talk about some simple actions that we all can take to combat climate change and improve our local community. This is Folk Songs and Stories number 293. Welcome to Folk Songs and Stories. I am Marc Gunn. I'm a Celtic and folk musician and host of the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. If you're new to the show, please subscribe. You can do that at pubsong.com or just send an email to follow at celtfather.net. Happy New Year! It is a brand new year, and there's a lot going on. Top of my list is that I'm having hip surgery done. So I'm making sure I get this episode out before I head off to have surgery. So now climate change is a real issue, and it is very concerning to me. I have 2 amazing daughters, and I want them to have long, healthy lives. I want them to continue to experience the great outdoors, going for hikes, and being a part of the beauty our world has to offer. And that's one of the reasons I created album pens. It's a beautiful product that connects you to the music. It may even make you think about how we consume in general. I also want to help other musicians create sustainable music careers, and I believe the album pen is a way that they can do just that. So this year on Folk Songs and Stories, as well as on my other podcasts, I have 3 goals. First, I want to introduce you to some great Celtic and folk bands that I encounter as part of my travels or through my Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. We're going to try to dig a little bit deeper into their music, is kind of my hope. Second, I hope to share simple and practical tips on how to live a more sustainable life so our climate can continue to improve. Each of us, I say that, I know that we can't make massive climate change, fix the climate change issues just individually. However, there are small things that we can do to make a difference. So we're going to talk about that a little bit this year. And finally, I will promote my music because it's ultimately what this podcast has always been about. So I am currently planning monthly releases of this podcast. However, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to schedule is planning a monthly episode. However, when I get the urge, I might release more. For instance, this summer, I have a 10-part series promoting my Irish Drinking Songs for Cat Lovers CD, which was officially released 20 years ago. 20 years. This is also my 20th year as a podcaster and full-time musician. So we're going to start the year off by counting down 9 bands that you should keep an eye on in 2025, along with some of my favorite songs of the year. But I also hope that you will consider one change to support climate change efforts. Here are 3 that you can choose from if you want. Just pick one. Number 1, buy fewer things with single-use plastic. I don't know about you, but most stores have single-use plastic. There's a lot of it out there. I actually just changed my dishwashing detergent from the plastic bottle that it comes in and put it and started going for the paper instead. That is not liquid because, well, it's not plastic. So small little change. Buy from small, local, sustainable businesses. That includes bands. This is one of the things that I want to do a lot more of. The past few years I still go to Walmart. I still go to buy stuff from Amazon. And I want to change my behavior on that. I feel like they don't need any more money. Corporations are the reasons why our world is falling to pieces because they are not thinking sustainably. So I'm going to support smaller artists. Some of it might be more expensive, and that's okay. I'm able to do that on occasion. I don't know. We'll see. If a lot of it does depend on money, and I understand that for all of us. But think about it. If you are able to buy local, buy small, sustainable businesses in particular. And number 3, talk to bands and people about album pens and Patreon. Those are really important for small bands in particular. I think the album pen is the answer for those of us who don't listen to CDs or don't have a record player anymore. And Patreon, of course, is the number 1 way that I make a living with my music, which has become a little bit more difficult because of recent changes on Patreon. But for my Celtic podcast, my income dropped a whole bunch. But if you're able to support the music of artists, please do just that. Together, we can make a difference. So I'm going to play some music from my latest album. It's the title track from Come Adventure With Me. And when you're done, head on over to pubsong.com. Follow the link in the show notes that says favorite songs on the album. What are your favorite songs on this album? You'll find a link to actually listen to all the songs if you want to do just that. And let me know. Here is Come Adventure With Me. unknown, inside of fears that turn me to stone. Do I step forward or head back home? Which is the path for me? I raise my head and take one step more. The ground it shakes, I look back to the door. Feel like I'm caught and stuck to the floor. So I cut myself free. This world's a treasure that is full of strife. Every moment can enrich your life. Just face your dragons with the edge of a knife. It's a better life, you see. Come adventure with me. Ugly goblins doing scary things. Deep down in dungeons there are magic rings. Live or die with the riddles we bring. You'll find your way through the dark. My precious life has so many memories. Fluttering birds, butterflies in trees. My home is comfort. Comfort is a breeze, but there's another way to live. This world's a treasure that is full of strife. Every moment can enrich your life. Just face your dragons with the edge of a knife. It's a better life, you see. Come adventure with me. Dragons with the edge of a knife. It's a better life, you see. Come adventure with me. So many wars, it's an endless fight to slay our dragons that soar through our night. But I'm no coward, I'll do what is right before I make my way home. Now I'm back with stories that ring, a truth that soars upon eagle wings. Let's not forget the songs elves sing, oh, the joy that they bring. This world's a treasure that is full of strife. Every moment can enrich your life. Face your dragons with the edge of a knife. It's a better life, you see. This world's a treasure that is full of strife. Every moment can enrich your life. Just face your dragons with the edge of a knife. It's a better life, you see. Come adventure with me. Upcoming shows. March 1st, I will be at the Lost Druid Brewery. That will be my return to performing after my hip surgery. Then I have Cleveland Concoction in Cleveland, Ohio. That's March 7th through 9th. March 15th is the Wings Cafe in Marietta, Georgia. April 25th through 27th is Jordan Con here in Atlanta. June 21st through 28th, I'm doing a Celtic Invasion of Wexford, Ireland. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. And then September 24th through 28th, I'll be at ALEP 6th. That's my Hobbit gathering in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. Now, Sherwood Forest Fair is currently, as of this recording, I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to be there. I had some dates all scheduled, and then I needed to make a little change, so stay tuned for that. By the time this episode goes live, I should have some new pictures from my Celtic invasion of Scotland's whiskey. I'm trying to post a few pictures on the socials every week, but you can get all of the pictures from that each session over on Patreon. When you follow me on Patreon, you don't have to be an actual patron. You can just follow my Patreon page and get an update with all those pictures and some little bit of news each and every week. So go check that out. Head on over to patreon.com/Celtfather. All right, in a moment, I'm going to talk about the 9 Celtic folk bands to watch in 2025. Here's one of them, the Langer's Ball. This is from the singles collection 2023 to 2024.
1, 2, 3, go! On the 4th of July, 1806, we set sail from the sweet Cove of Cork. We were sailing away with a cargo of bricks to the Grand City Hall in New York. 'Twas a wonderful craft, she was rigged fore and aft. Oh, how the wild winds drove her. She stood several blasts, she had 27 masts, and they called her the Irish Rover. We had 1 million bags of the best Sligo rags. We had 2 million barrels of stone. We had 3 million sides of old blind horses' hides. We had 4 million barrels of bones. We had 5 million hogs, 6 million dogs, 7 million barrels of porter. We had 8 million bales of old nanny goats' tails in the hold of the Irish Rover. There was old Mickey Coot, who played hard on his flute while the ladies lined up for a set. He was tooting with skill for each sparkling quadrille, though the dancers were fluttered and bet. With his smart, witty talk, he was cock of the walk. He rolled the dames under and over, and they all knew at a glance when he took up his stance that he sailed on the Irish Rover. From the banks of the Lee, there was Hogan from County Tyrone. There was Johnny McGurk, who was scared stiff of work, and a man from Westmeath called Malone. There was Thugger O'Toole, who was drunk as a rule, fighting Bill Tracy from Dover. And your man Mick McCann from the banks of the Bann was the skipper on the Irish Rover. And the ship lost its way in the fog, and that whale of a crew was reduced down to 2, just myself and the captain's old dog. Then the ship struck a rock, oh Lord, what a shock. The bulkhead was turned right over. It turned 9 times around, and the poor old dog was drowned. That's the last of the Irish Rover.
you're enjoying the show, please leave a comment on the podcast show notes at pubsong.com or wherever you are listening. You can also message me on Facebook, email me, send me pictures of where you're listening at follow@celtfather.net. Today's show is brought to you by my Celtic Invasion Vacations. Every year I take a small group of people on a relaxing adventure to one of the Celtic nations. We don't see everything. Instead, we stay in one area. We get to know the region through its culture, history, and legends. You can join me with an auditory and visual adventure through podcasts, blogs, videos, and photos. In 2025, you can join me for a Celtic Invasion of Wexford, Ireland. Sign up to the Celtic Invasion Vacations mailing list at celticinvasion.com. All right, let's talk about 9 Celtic folk bands that you should keep an eye on in 2025. I'm going to share with you my list that I've been following for a while. Something stood out in this past year that makes me think that I should keep an eye on them in the year to come. First on that list, of course, is the band I just played, which was the Langer's Ball. Their tagline reads, Irish folk punk from the frozen Midwest. They've gone through a lot of different style changes over the years. They did some full-on punk band, Celtic punk band for a couple years, and that was a lot of fun, but I really enjoy the folk punk, I guess, a lot more. And I also was impressed that they picked up on the album pin idea. So something that I am very close to, but I really think that they've got a lot of energy, and I keep seeing them pop up in my feed, and it just makes me really excited to see what's going to happen with them in the coming year. They are just a 2-piece band, and they are light and flexible. You'll hear strings, accordion, penny whistle, and of course vocals. They have an entire instrumental album of traditional tunes, and it's fantastic. So if you like that, go check it out. The Gothard Sisters, if you're familiar with me and my Irish and Celtic Music Podcast, you know that I'm well familiar with them. I've been following them since I think they got on the podcast in like 2007, 8, 9, somewhere around there, really early on in the when I started the podcast. And their music has progressively gotten better. Each album gets better and better and better. I absolutely love the last album, and they are working on a new album. And of course, they're also working writing songs, which is one of the things that I always look for with any folk band of any sort. Is it's all about songwriting. The music business is about songwriting. Yes, I love the traditional songs and tunes, but when you have some original music, that's where the tradition really stays alive and comes alive. So Kinfolk is out of the Blue Ridge Mountains over in Virginia, and they started off playing in sessions back in 2017. They got married, they went to Ireland, and now they're just exploding. They've already had a lot of great presence online, but they keep popping up on my radar all the time. Their new album is called Star Above the Mountain. I think they're being sponsored. I think they got a grant to create music inspired by Virginia and their area in Virginia, Roanoke, I think it is, and Celtic music. So they're keeping the music alive, and I'm really excited to see what happens with them in the days to come. The Cider House Rebellion is another band that they have a really unique approach to traditional songs and tunes. The band features Adam Summerhays as a fiddle player, and Murray Granger on accordion. Molly Donnery frequently joins the group on vocals, and of course, I'm going to go ahead and spoil the ending of the blog post that I made for this entire thing, which was another band on this list, which is the Haar, which is basically those two, along with Cormac Byrne and Molly Donnery singing vocals. And I love the way both of those groups are bringing the music together. So on that note, let's go ahead and play some music from the Haar. This is Wild Rover from their album Where Old Ghosts Meet. And what a great version of this traditional song.
I've been a wild rover for many's the year, and I've spent all my money on whiskey and beer. But now I'm returning with gold in great store, and I never will play the wild rover no more. And it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover I can have any day, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never. Sovereigns bright, and the landlady's eyes opened wide with delight. She said, I have whiskies and wines of the best, and the words that you told me were only in jest, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. I'll go home to my parents, confess what I've done, and I'll ask them to pardon their prodigal son. And when they've caressed me as oft times before, oh, I never will play the wild rover no more. So I bought from her whiskey and wines of the best, and then lay on my back with the knife in my chest, as she took from my pockets the rest of my gold. Then she stood there and laughed as my body went cold, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more.
Another musician that I'm keeping an eye on is Enda Riley. He is an Irishman. He lives in Michigan, and he's been songwriting since age 16 and holds a deep love of Irish music. He's writing a lot of great music. This is the thing that, again, one of the things I always look for. And Enda is definitely writing a lot of great music for the next generation of Celtic musicians. So if you get a chance, go check out his music, because I think, number one, you'll be impressed by the songwriting, but also I'm expecting bands will be performing his music in the years to come. There's a great sign right there. Lissa Schneckenberger is next. She is a talented fiddler and songwriter as well. She released a new album, I think it was a couple years ago, but I played a ton of the music over on the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. I also talked to her back in 2022 when we were talking about sustainability and the music industry. And so there's a lot that's going on with Lissa as well. So I can't wait to see what happens to her in the days to come. Ironwood is another husband and wife duo that I found on Facebook when I was, something random comes up every now and then, and I was like, what's this? And Anna is on fiddle and mandolin. Marc is on guitar and electric bass and vocals. They're based out in Michigan. I feel like there's a little bit of a bluegrass thing going, but not quite. But it's very, writing some original songs. They're playing some wonderful tunes. Again, it's a beautiful fusion of the traditional and the contemporary. And it's one of the reasons I keep going back to their music. I can't wait for them to release another album, though I haven't heard if they're doing that anytime soon. So Tree is a band out of Australia. It is made up of Peter French, who plays piano, accordion, guitar, bouzouki, and bass guitar, and Christine Moffat on harp and fiddle. They are a rather new band, but okay, so here's one of the things. When it comes to, I love the fiddle, I love most of the traditional Irish instruments. One of the things that I like is the harp. It's not my favorite instrument, but every now and then you come across a harpist and you're like, oh, what is that? That's amazing. I love what you're doing here. And they just blow you away. And for whatever reason, Christine Moffat is one of those people who, whenever I hear this band and I'm like, I'm going to play some of their music. I'm like, huh? Oh, it's a harp in there. It's a little bit of a shock, I guess. But they have definitely caught my attention. And so I'm going to be keeping an eye on them in the new year. All right. So if you want to check out these bands, you can find them all on the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast at CelticMusicPodcast.com. And if you want to share your own favorite Celtic folk bands that you're keeping an eye on in 2025, drop me a line, follow at celtfather.net. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm really excited for the new year. I've been working hard trying to optimize the Irish and Celtic Music Podcast. This podcast, I'm working on having the new running title, Folk Songs and Stories. I'm just really excited on the things that are coming this year. So stay tuned for all that. We're going to finish up the show with Kinfolk from their new album, Star Above the Mountain. This is Roanoke Pertabil. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be back next month, if not sooner. Sláinte.
Go a train a G&J, got a school of drum, high belt and back a fall, cut your chain, Palliac. Fight go a train a G&J, got a school of drum, high belt and back a fall, cut your chain, Palliac. Kunnik in a school of hun, Mullavan, Bale, can you hog, and be rown up a hill bra. Kunnik in a school of hun, Mullavan, Bale, can you hog, and be rown up a hill bra. Fight go a train a G&J, got a school of drum, high belt and back a fall, cut your chain, Palliac. Fight go a train a G&J, got a school of drum, high belt and back a fall, cut your chain, Palliac. Kunnik in a school of hun, Mullavan, Bale, can you hog, and be rown up a hill bra. Kunnik in a school of hun, Mullavan, Bale, can you hog, and be rown up a hill bra. Fight go a train a G&J, got a school of drum, high belt and back a fall, cut your chain, Palliac. Fight go a train a G&J, got a school of drum, high belt and back a fall, cut your chain, Palliac. Kunnik in a school of hun, Mullavan, Bale, can you hog, and be rown up a hill bra. Kunnik in a school of hun, Mullavan, Bale, can you hog, and be rown up a hill bra.
Thanks for listening to Folk Songs and Stories. This episode was edited by Mitchell Peterson. It was produced by Marc Gunn and my Gun Runners on Patreon. Follow my Patreon blog for free updates and to listen to the podcast. Sign up to my mailing list for monthly updates and discover where I'm performing. Please tell one friend about this podcast. Word of mouth is the absolute best way to support any creative endeavor. And finally, remember, reduce, reuse, recycle, and talk with others about how you can make a positive impact on climate change and your community. Have fun and sing along at pubsong.com.